International Master, Glorified FIDE Master, Will Paschall here. We're going to be playing some Fast Friday Blitz. First stream back in about 8 or 9 days. I've been away, and I'm happy to be back. We've got... the setup is running, hopefully okay. I haven't done this in 9 days, and it's for me, it's not like riding a bicycle. I really feel like it's kind of weird not streaming for a week plus and then coming back to it. I haven't had a break in a while, and so looks like it'll be all right. So, Troll and a Roll is here. Nefedov challenged me. Morales, good to see you guys. We just had this tournament I played in the Budapest Spring Festival. Not a good result. It's been rough. It's been rough trying to get back into chess the last 2 years since I started playing again quite a bit, or at least like semi-regularly. But I'm happy to be back here streaming. I feel better streaming than I do playing. Troll and a Roll. I can't take you first. I've got to take the challenges in the order I got them. So Nefedov is first, then Morales, and then Troll. Guys, today, hey Soltiga, what's up? Today we are playing 5+3 Fast Friday. Hopefully the volume is okay. Maybe I should open the window a little bit more because it's pretty hot. We had beautiful weather for the Budapest Spring Festival. That was one good thing. I don't think it rained more than just a little bit during the entire tournament here. I thought the tournament was run fairly well. Party horn. Yeah, it really looks kind of weird. Thanks for the 30 bits. Soltico takes the leaderboard. Alright, it's a Slav. I've got to wake up here and just play some... Tournament wasn't good, Morales. I played a lot of little kids. I performed around 2200. But it's really kind of weird because while my performance rating was 2200, the performance rating of the people that I played was like 23, close to 2350. Or maybe like 2325 or something like that, like solidly into the 2300s. So I'm not sure about how that works, but I feel like I didn't play well, but I played better than my performance rating really like shows. No, these kids weren't loud. They're just good at chess and they're underrated. No, we're talking about professionals. Like, these little kids don't have attention deficit disorder. They concentrate better than me. They don't make any sounds. It's not easy. Against Nefedov, I played knight h4 in a previous game. That's a line that I don't know too well, but I did study a little bit with one of my students. Anyway, we'll go back to our main line here. Last time Nefedov played this sideline, knight e4. I think my biggest problem is just that I didn't concentrate well. I was kind of excited to be in this tournament and see a lot of people and just see a lot of interesting games, and I was pretty distracted during my games, I noticed. Walking around a lot on my opponent's time, which is really not a good habit to get into. I don't think I do that really typically if it's like a small venue without a lot of games. I felt like this was definitely an issue for me, breaking my concentration by walking around too much during my games. Something to worry about. But maybe I drank too much coffee. I don't know. But I think we can improve the play. Okay, Nefedov, we had this before. We also had this variation once before. This is a very standard line. Kind of like the main line of the long variation of the Slav. But I can also play bishop g4 there. That's a major branching point. So I think I might have even played e5 against him once, but this is like the main line with bishop d3. Now, no, that's the game from before. E5, knight d5, it's all standard. What other options do I have, though? I'm not sure that e5 is the only move. I may have played bishop f4 here. I can't recall now. But let's try this again. See if we can improve our play from the last time. Troll doesn't like my new setup. Well, it's not all that different from the other one, dude. It's a different computer. My computer is in the shop still. I had to order a new keyboard. And they had to order it from the United States. And I'm waiting for it to arrive. So, until I get that back, this is going to be the setup, whether you like it or not, Troll. Now, bishop e7, right, we had this before, but I'm not convinced. Let's see, like, knight g5 is the best move for sure. Nefedov has, like, he's like one of the little kids that I played. There was one little kid who just clearly memorized. He was taught to memorize a lot of openings. And I made the mistake of letting him get into one of his memorized openings. But if you get him outside the memorized openings, then all of a sudden, you know, he can't calculate his way out of a paper bag, you know. Unfortunately, I realized this too late. Now, I'm not saying that Nefedov can't calculate his way out of a paper bag, but what's up with a6? Last time against Nefedov, I did something weird, like I played bishop e3. And this is, I found later that it was supposed to be bishop d2, bishop c3. So I'm basically improving on my last game. It may be that a6 is theory. I don't recall. I'm turning my head while reading chat. Dude, what are you talking about? You're really focusing on this while I'm trying to do a stream and play some chess here. Alright, dude. You got issues. You got priority issues about what's important and what's not. I think you're a little anal retentive. I guess we all are about certain things. But, alright. Sometimes we just have to roll with change, Troll. We have to accept change. I know that that's hard. Harder for some people than for others. And it's hard for me too. You know, believe me, I fight against change myself a lot, but we just have to go there. Another thing that I do that I realize, one thing I have to be careful about is trying to be too much of a perfectionist. Getting in time pressure, because I'm always trying to find the best move. It's better to just be practical. Time pressure was a major issue in a couple of my games. Alright, so now we can take and play b5 with tempo. Or we can avoid the exchange of bishops. I feel like in principle I should avoid the exchange of bishops. This guy is memorized this line extremely well. I still don't think that black is quite 100% equal here. Nefedov, very solid choice of opening. This is, I guess, his only main defense, actually, to d4. Alright. Very competitive game from Nefedov here. He's extremely competitive. Knight a7 now seems kind of weird. I'm kind of like holding my breath waiting for a trap now. It looks like there must be some sort of trap. But I don't see it. He has tactics, but he also gets back rank mated in a lot of scenarios, so the tactics actually don't work for him. You're talking about the game where the kid played queen b6 or something, forcing the queen trade? No. No, I don't think that kid was, it was the other kid that I put my games in the study guides for the Budapest Spring Festival, which I put in the Sparkle Horse team forum if you want to check it out. But no, it was a little kid where I played like black and he played the white side of a Skaveningen by transposition. After 17 moves, he was back in his book, and it was like, I was thinking, man, this is the fault of the Hungarian trainers, these like amateur chess trainers, teaching kids to memorize 17 moves of openings rather than like simply how to calculate, because he has a totally winning position and he doesn't know how to like pick like one of 4 tactical wins. But he can memorize 17 or 18 or 20 moves of theory. This is exactly against like the classic kind of Russian school of you need to learn the end game and the middle game first, not memorizing openings. This is like, I don't think a good way to teach chess to kids. Okay, f6 here, I'm not sure what to do. I'm just gonna play for the space. Troll, I don't think there's too many in real life Chess 960. When did you become obsessed with Chess 960? I think you could go to Pardubice in the Czech Republic in the summertime. They have a chess festival there. They'll probably have a Chess 960 tournament along with other stuff. That's the only one I know of for sure. I'm getting a little concerned about this. My space isn't worth a damn. He's basically forcing an obstacle to bishop position. Yeah, I like how Nefedov is 1700. No draws today. He's like played perfectly. What is his like? Man. 1700. Sure, dude. Let's just get on with the game. The real games. Alright. Morales is up next. Alright. I think that Nefedov just tries to make his rating lower and lower to like embarrass me or something. I think he purposely tries to make it as low as possible. Now he's gone under like 1800. Seems about right rating. He doesn't have a single win lately. We just always draw on Nefedov. It doesn't feel like we're even playing. I mean, every single game is a draw. I'm a little bit, it's like I already have this like trauma about all this draws. Playing you in the first round is in the first game is terrible for me. I didn't need a draw in the first game today to make myself feel better. All right. Queen b6 here. This is kind of a weird line. I was thinking about playing maybe bishop e5, queen b6 in the normal bishop e5 lines with like e4, c5, knight f3, knight c6, bishop b5, the Rossolimo with bishop b5. This is similar. Here I think we could just transpose after queen b6, knight f3. Sure, Nefidab, but I mean, again and again I say this, but you don't really explain, like, why is your rating so low? Like, it's embarrassing to me that your blitz rating is like 1700 and you still every time play like your 2000 plus. You know, get your rating above 1700 because it just makes me look bad. All right, queen b6, castles. I'm just going to play d6 here. Would have been a win. I don't think so. I mean, how is he going to win with my bishop on c5 and I just play like rook f2 or something? I mean, I only have to defend like the g2 point. It doesn't seem like there's any way he can win there, you know. But here, I don't know. I don't really want to let my pawn structure be destroyed, but it seems like white has an advantage now. Maybe I could sacrifice a pawn somehow. Takes, but how to do it? You know, takes, bishop d7, rook c8. This is a problematic position, but I don't see what I'm supposed to do. Because knight b5 is such a big threat. I guess I can play like a6, knight a4, b5, and hold the equality or something. I'm too far behind in development to do something like, you know, another weird queen move. It's probably just a dubious variation for me, but I don't have time to try to find the best possible move against Morales. He took me by surprise playing this like knight c3, bishop b5. He's never done this before, and I'm only half awake, and so normally I would play this knight d4, but I don't know why. I did play knight d4, yeah. What am I talking about? Okay. Knight f3, knight takes b5. Yeah, I don't know. I've never played this before, queen b6. It just came to my mind. Maybe it's just bad. When did you suggest queen c6? Let's see. Knight c3, e6. Well, anyway, I don't have time to analyze now. Morales looks like he's lost rating points too. I can't let him play knight b6 and seal me off. I mean, I'm probably just like dead there. Sandbagging is a direct violation. The problem is there's no reason to do sandbagging on lichess. I mean, there's no real reason to do that, you know, for anybody. I've got to watch a4. That's the biggest problem facing our existence here. You angered a kid on chess.com who accused me of cheating? Dude, chess.com is not a good place to play chess. I'll tell you right now. Maybe they have some good kind of multimedia and stuff, but it's not where you want to play chess. All right. Everybody's strong. Everybody's fast and everybody's strong. I don't really want to give up my bishop, and if I play bishop c5 anyway, he has like bishop e3. b4 seems to open the position. I can deal with a4 with b4. But I'm not really sure what I should be doing here. If knight c5 maybe. He also has f5 in some positions. I wonder if I should seriously do something crazy. g5. Now I have no time. I feel like white is better a little bit somehow. Alright, where's the ambulance emote? Okay, maybe white isn't better. I don't know. Maybe I'm being pessimistic here. Dude, it's like who farted, you know? Whoever smells the fart is the one who did it, right? I mean, it's pretty common kind of psychology. But if you don't use a computer and someone's accusing you of using a computer, there's something wrong, okay? You can just be quite sure about that. People just... Okay, there are some people who just accuse everybody of being a computer like me. Now, there really are these people who just, like, they're hung up on this and they just accuse everybody. Every time they lose a game in their chess.com profile, they write on the other person's... It's like that, man. I mean, this guy is like writing on everybody's profile on chess.com, which is horrible, by the way, to have a site where you have like these comments on your profile that are really like left there by hate comments by people and stuff. I can't believe that even like exists. It's so awful, you know, to even like see that stuff. But whatever. It's worse than like Facebook or something. Okay, so now what are we gonna do? This is a little bit like what I was concerned about. We're winning a pawn? Seriously? But not, because he's got this perverse tricks. Like, are you serious? Rook takes c1, rook c1, rook takes e3, rook c8 check, king e7, knight c6 mate. Is he like planning that? Seriously? You've calculated that in advance? I mean, that's crazy, dude. But I would never play on a site where that's like done, where people put these awful comments on your profile and like leave it there and you can't get rid of them or whatever. I mean, dude, chess.com is like awful. I wouldn't even... Actually, I have an old account. I don't go there, but I wanted to delete my account because it's such a horrible, horrible site. Alright. So anyway, I mean, you're going to get hateful people no matter where you go, but the site doesn't have to, like, encourage it. So that was an insane mating attack by Morales. If I take on c3, rook c1, rook takes e3, rook c8 check, and mate. I felt that I'm behind in development. Here I have to be careful, though. If rook b1, I have, like, knight b6, maybe. Try to put a knight on c4. Or just... I could just castle, you know. But he gets some counterplay, it looks like. So white is okay. Despite the bad pawn structure. Yeah. Despite the bad pawn structure, he's okay here. But I can kind of block his play along the b file a little bit. I'll have knight c4, and then I'll get the castle at some point. I mean, maybe I should consider putting my king on d7, but this f5 has been hanging in the balance. Morales is another player, it's like, who's underrated, you know? Forget about the fact that he's 1875. I mean, he doesn't play like a guy who's 1875 by any stretch of the imagination. I think I'm just clearly worse now. Changing your username. No, you have to make a different account. You make a bot. You can make a bot account now. I like how dynamically White played this. Not afraid at all. Okay, that's probably a mistake. My king just isn't safe in the center. So he made a definite like little inaccuracy there. I'm not even sure if I should play g6, to be honest. I think I missed knight d2. Man, rook b3 was a good move. I think. But now we're just playing bullet. This is going to be really hard for me to win. Only one pawn up. Oh my god. He just found this e6 move. Wow. That's crazy, dude. I can move my knight, right? Or else just like panicked with e7. Man, you guys are tough, but he just kind of panicked. I mean, I think the position is really hard for black to win. If he doesn't panic there, man, still not over. I'd be really generous with the ratings. Dude, play in the tournaments on lichess and see if the people play like as well as Morales does. The average 1800 in a tournament on lichess, tell me that they play like that, okay? Because I just like beat them in 20 moves, you know. It's not even the same. Like, the people that are playing on my stream are really dedicated to playing chess. I mean, he's gone to the trouble of playing here almost every time I have a stream. He subscribes to the channel. You know, for whatever reason, he doesn't care about his rating that much. But I mean, the typical player who's like 1800 on lichess is just extremely weak, and this is not the case, you know, here. This is a player who, you know, is probably around high 1900s FIDE, I think. All right, let's see. Quickly, I got into a bad position with queen b6. It looks like this is actually like a really bad move. If you analyze here with Stockfish, I've got some maybe some lag with my machine. I noticed this when I first came on this morning. Let's see, we're at 98 ping. Is not too bad actually, and I don't like this. Learn from your mistakes. Why is that there? Okay. But I just want to look at the opening. That's all I was like trying to point out here. Queen b6, dubious inaccuracy, and my advantage goes up to like a pawn, a minus pawn. after this move. Wow. Minus pawn. Knight c3, e6, d4. He didn't play d4 right away. That would be more accurate. Then I play d6 for lack of a better move. He plays d4, I take. He plays takes, I play queen takes. Now I have to play a6. Interestingly here, the computer is suggesting bishop d7. What would I play on knight b5 there? Take, take, and rook c8. That's interesting. Okay, maybe that's a better way than not playing a6. I could play that. Take, take, rook c8. If knight takes a7, rook takes c2. All right, interesting opening, but not really good for me. So let's play Troll on a Roll here. Anyway, guys, sorry for being away for so long. But I had to lose some rating points to try to get under 2350. It was kind of a standing joke during the tournament that we're going to play Chess 960 here. I realized, like, surely before the tournament I played and started, that there was a prize for under 2350 FIDE. Of course, because I was like 2363 or something. And I was thinking, like, after dropping some rating points in the early going, you know, like with live ratings and whatnot, I mean, you could even have like the prize be like, you know, available to people like in the middle of the tournament. In other words, like if your rating drops under 2350 or it goes under 2350 during the tournament, you could qualify. But now that my rating has gone to probably the second lowest point in like the last 15 years, I'm seriously like thinking about trying to find some tournaments where I could actually win a prize for like under 2350. But this doesn't exist that commonly. If it was under 2350 at the World Open, I would be in Philadelphia in June for sure, or July. But unfortunately, the World Open in Philadelphia is under 2300. They change it sometimes, and I think it had been 2350 in some previous editions of that tournament. But not that I would be a favorite, but I would still play. I think I would have a legitimate chance, having won the prize before in the past. So what are we doing here? Just trying to get our pieces maneuvered to the king's side, I guess. Troll and Roll said, who will host it? What are you talking about? There's a bot? You guys are talking about a bot? Alright, so d5. Extremely central, controlled move. Want to play maybe bishop d2. If he pushes d4, we're fine. Taking on e4, I'm not sure which way to recapture. I also have bishop g4, but that might end up just like forcing him to play rook c7 and putting my bishop in an exposed position. I'm not sure if I want to do that or not. On the other hand, it might not be bad. So if anybody knows of any tournaments with prizes under 2350, let me know. But I think our goal will be to get under 2300 for next year's World Open. I don't have to throw games. I can just draw. You know, we can probably draw our way down to 2299. The way that we're going. Like, I'm not kidding. You know, the problem is it's going to take too long. It might take me 2 years to draw my way down to 2299. Okay, this is probably not good. Bishop d2. The problem is he's starting pawn takes pawn now. I'll have to take back with the pawn. So that's probably not the best move. Maybe just queen e2. That was actually my original plan. To play queen e2, stop h5, just get developed, and get ready to castle. Both sides are going to castle kingside most likely. Although it is a very important idea in chess 960 to, I think, delay castling in many cases. Keep the other guy guessing. I took away my knight's best retreat square. Now there's the proverbial question. The knight's really bad on, it's really bad on d1. Although I could play f3 and play knight f2. Maybe it's not that bad. More natural to come back to b1 and go through d2. Soltigo, what's up, man? Thanks for being here for the stream. I know it's like really extremely late for you, so I definitely thought you'd be here for Sunday's stream. Just want to let you guys know that normally I do a simul on Sundays. It's like 40-40, but I'm going to do a longer 60-minute simul on Sunday. One of our long-standing players who watches the stream made the suggestion a couple weeks ago that I do a longer simul. I mean, I had talked about it in the past, but I thought that we'd start it this weekend, Sunday. The knight on b3 is bad. The knight on b1 is bad too here, so I don't know which one to get rid of. But honestly, maybe I should just castle. I don't know what's up with queen e7. It's kind of a weird move. I guess he's just trying to castle as well. 180 plus per 100. Yeah, we do like a marathon simul. No, 60, 25 players. 60 minutes. I was originally going to do 40-second increments, like 60 minutes with 40-second increments, but I've been thinking maybe it makes more sense to make it like standardized, you know? So, in other words, like 30-second increment, just like a real tournament. Maybe that would be more normal. Machine Supremacy said, do you see that the first segment of the first day of the U.S. Chess Championship was an interview with a Monsanto spokeswoman? Dude, I don't know anything about the U.S. Championship. All I know is that it's been hijacked by the St. Louis chess people, and I think that's like really kind of perverse. So I don't have anything to say about it. You know, I think that it's just crazy that the U.S. Chess Federation let, you know, this billionaire hijack the U.S. Championship. And what they do with it, you know, what they're going to do with it. You know, I think it's totally sick, like the whole concept of the U.S. Chess Championship being taken over by like a private billionaire. But that's another subject, you know. Whatever they do doesn't surprise me. I think it's, you know, it's not the way it's supposed to be. All right, it's like this guy's private tournament now, you know. The U.S. Chess Championship should be in many different sites. It shouldn't always be in St. Louis. You know, it's totally bogus and corrupt. It should be moved around the United States, not to just popularize chess in St. Louis. The self-serving thing, man. I mean, it's nice to have a patron, but you're, you know, neglecting other places in the U.S. The U.S. Chess Federation is just incapable of functioning properly, like most federations and most sporting organizations. Knight on 1 to d2, rook b8. But I really, you know, I'm not that fond of the whole sink field thing. So, what are we doing here with our knights? I mean, like, how much will you sell your soul for? You know. Put my knight on c4. It'll get stuck there. I'm going to play a prophylactic move here, king h1. Obviously, I'm going to prepare f4 in some moment. You thought St. Louis is in Canada. It is, isn't it? Wait, I've never been to St. Louis in my life, and I don't particularly want to go for any special reason. I wouldn't play even if they like invited to pay me to play like an IM tournament there or something like that. I just don't like the whole concept of this like private billionaire taking over the U.S. Championship. You know, he can have his money. I would rather have, you know, the U.S. Chess Federation retain its like its sense of self-worth or something. It's nice that the U.S. Championship is really strong, but it was much cooler back in the day. We had some really good tournaments in Seattle. That's just my personal opinion. I mean, a lot of people will disagree. They'll say, oh, you've got a great sponsor. Yeah, but he's like taking over everything, man. I mean, is it worth it? Take over U.S. chess, like, with his private money? Tough maneuvering game here. Anyway, guys, I started this subject about Sunday. Every Sunday I do a simul on lichess in the evening, my time, which is 6 p.m. It is 6 p.m., right? 6 p.m. CEST, Central European Summertime. This week it's going to be long, so 60 plus 30, 60 plus 40. Probably around 4 hours. It's going to be a potential 4-hour game. So please don't, consider playing unless you can really hang out for that long. This is going to get kind of convoluted, but if I have to, I'll put my knight on a5. And I'm ready to strike with f4. We're uncoiling on the king side with f4. Is he going to play like knight g5 here or what? That's not a problem. I hope. How long have I been streaming? You mean streaming today or streaming in general? Since 2 years? Although I made video content for chess for the last 10, 15 years. Actually longer. But as far as actually streaming on Twitch, 2 years. And as far as today, we've been up for 40 minutes. But I've been away for the last 9 days playing in a tournament here, so I haven't been streaming in the last week. He played f5. This is sort of anti-positional, putting this white square break there on the board on f5 when he has no white square bishop, kind of like weak white squares. I mean, white is definitely better. The e4 square looks like a big weakness. We got a lot of weird troll comments today. Man, am I gonna have to play like g4 to shut this down? What if I just take? Is he getting away with this? Knight takes e5, rook e1. We can hit him again with bishop f4. Both sides have an irrelevant knight in this position. This one against, it's like the h7 knight against the b3 knight. Which guy is better? All right. I think we win material here. Knight g6, queen takes e7, wins a piece. These games are really fast. Usually I like to play a little bit longer time control, like 5, I don't know, let's say 6-3, 7-3. But I've just on Fridays I've decided to make this day when we play just 5+3, nothing slower. Excessive use of caps. Yeah, that's surprising. Alright. Not such a bad game. We didn't make any blunders there. We're clearly better in the final position. It looks like he has some way to play on. Queen f7, bishop takes e5, b5. What? So he can undermine the protection. That's interesting. Like queen f7, hitting my bishop, and then undermine this guard by playing b5. So then we can just be like a pawn up or something, like pawn takes pawn, knight d2. And it's not that convincing. So you're actually not lost, troll. You're just worse. You're only down. You get your piece back. You're only down a pawn, and it's certainly a game yet. You have no clue why Mubake. No, it always times everyone out for caps. You know, excessive caps. It's just annoying in the chat when people put excessive caps. So that's set up there. All right, guys. I'm just gonna take the challengers, like not favoring any subscribers or anything today. Quam is up next. All right. I've been playing a knight f3 g3. I had the only game I won this week was with g3, but it's easy to play this stuff. Not too much time to think and really commentate the games here. Quam is apparently he's down with the English opening. All right. I think that Simon Williams actually recommends this old Indian against everything, but I don't see what's so exciting about that, you know? I mean, I wouldn't recommend that to people. I guess it's something that's semi-solid, but seriously, I mean, the old Indian I think is extremely difficult to play well. The only people who I know that can play it well are grandmasters. It just seems like a strange recommendation. I like Simon Williams, but this is one of his weirder recommendations, you know? The old Indian with black. Seems like an extremely difficult opening to play. Maybe I should go for the bishop pair here. As bad as it is, the bishop on e7. Yeah. As bad as it is, this bishop on e7. I think sorry guys, had to take care of something. All right. As bad as the bishop on e7 is, I think long term, it's a very important piece. So we go for the dark square bishops. b3, bishop on the long diagonal. It's kind of weird to take this really blocked bishop on e7. This is freeing his bishop on c8, but he creates a lot of weaknesses there. Yeah, I mean, I don't want to trade my kingside bishop on g2. Redundant naming of bishop on g2. That's all right. But this is our jolly joker, like the bishop on b2. That's why I took the bishop on e7. It's just a matter of time until proverbial shit hits the fan on the dark squares. Maybe it'll be 10 moves, maybe it'll be like 20 moves from now when something bad happens to black, but you can kind of bet on it. Yeah, I was actually going to bring my A rook. Maybe it is better. I'm not sure. All right, dude. Okay. That guy is really close to getting banned. Troll is Troll should not engage the trolls. Should know better than that to encourage these people. Now the Dark Sword Bishop starts to be a factor. I don't know if I'm pulling the trigger on this knight d5 too early, because that's possible. It's definitely possible to play this too early. Why are there so many like weird random new people here today than usual? Is this something about Friday? There's also a lot of people with that red color. I guess you guys don't see the same colors as me. This was an interesting idea to play c5 there. I think that was a good call by black. Not that easy to break him down. I mean, we've got the target on g7. There's a target here. I guess I could try to play f5, f6, but with his queen on f8 of all places, you know, playing f5, f6 may not be that effective. I don't have takes on h6. I mean, in most cases, in a normal scenario, this would be like crushing to play f5, f6. But the fact of the matter is that his queen is protecting h6, so I never have like queen takes h6 in any kind of mating. Let's just try to focus on chess and not the trolls here. And if you have something constructive to say about the game or about chess in general, then I would appreciate it. But other than that, you know, and no insulting anybody. Now I have f5, f6, and it starts to look interesting. Let's try it now. It's like he almost heard me. Oh, I think I hallucinated. It's okay. Wow. Just letting me take on g7. Okay. But actually, we were just playing earlier with Morales. He had a game like sort of similar to this once in a Budapest Gambit. Not that long ago. These bishops start to look really good. Well, the g2 bishop isn't anything special yet. You're trying to get back into chess again, c-fly, or sci-fly. Doing some chess puzzles. I think this is just winning on the spot. It's pretty beautiful, actually. But, okay, the puzzles are good. It depends on where you're coming from, you know, if you're totally new to the game or if you're like an experienced player who hasn't played in a long time. But I like lichess. Yeah, Morales, you had that pawn on g7 game in that Budapest. This is mate in one, right? No, Kwon plays too fast. You guys got plenty of time. A lot of players aren't used to playing with increment, you know, but I mean, for me, 2 minutes and 45 seconds is like forever. I mean, you could basically play forever with a 3-second increment. I mean, 2 minutes and 45 seconds is a lot of time. He needs to be a little bit more careful there. I think putting the queen back on e7 obviously strengthens my attack with f5, f6. Hey Berbom, good to see you, long time. A lot of old friends here and a lot of new people that I've never seen before at all. So we got everything. If you just joined lichess, you probably haven't seen my stream since I haven't been here this week at all. I was playing in a tournament, dropping some of my rating points. King Wiki, GG. Are those cookies? What is that emoji? The Emoji Movie. That was like one of the worst animated films ever made. Alright, c4. What are we going to do? I know that Hyperbomb likes this. He likes to allow me to play the Nimzo. One thing I noticed at my tournament, it seems like the Benoni is getting popular. Nobody played it against me, but I saw all sorts of games in the top boards. Lots of people here playing the Benoni. And I was thinking yesterday, yeah, potatoes, okay. They could be like peanuts. Budapest. Budapest Spring Festival is over. I only played 8 rounds. I dropped out after 8. There was no reason to play a 9th round. I'm just going to get paired down, probably, with my luck, play black again. It was a really huge disappointment. And the other thing I don't like about these Swiss systems is that whenever I play in one of these tournaments, it seems like you get stuck in this like rating pocket where you just play people with the same rating again and again and again and again. Like all I could do was literally play like people who were like around 2180 or between a range of like 2100 and 2250. I played one GM. That was a pretty good game. At least it was theoretically interesting. And then just this like playing perennially like every single player from the same rating group. It's really not very interesting. Used to think that Budapest has something to do with Buddha. It's actually a good question. It's a really good question. I don't know, to tell you the truth, where that comes from. But it would be good to look it up. I don't think it has anything to do with Buddha in the traditional sense. But, you know, it's interesting that I never bothered to really find that out. Alright, we'll just play our usual line here. I guess I should know the meaning of Budapest or where it comes from. But not something that I ever heard anyone even talk about. Okay. This is a pretty rare sideline that I play, but it's hard to get white. You know, it's hard to find new ideas in the classical Nimzo. But now I don't recall this. I don't recall this now. Bishop f8, pawn takes f6, pawn takes c3. Pawn takes c3, pawn takes f6. No, he has to play pawn takes c3, pawn takes b4. But then where does my knight go? Back to g8? I don't recall this. Oh, bishop takes. I'm crazy, man. I don't know. Every time I play this line, I get confused and I forget what I'm doing. It took me a minute to remember where I am. Okay, but Gigi Helis, the thing about it, the more interesting question, I guess, is where this Buddha, you know, the word itself more deeply, you know, Buddha comes from. That's the real question, I think. Because it's not like a typical Hungarian word, you know. It may be a word, but I don't know. I never heard it in any other context. It's not like a standard Hungarian word. Okay, I'm a little slow today. I haven't played any blitz in 9 days. So that's kind of holding me back, but I think we might have had this once, if I recall correctly, or at least something extremely similar to this against Haberbaum. On the surface, White's position looks very good, but he's also like lagging in development. It's probably some old Hungarian word. I mean, maybe it means river. I don't know. You know, I have no clue. There are also a lot of old Hungarian words that are like defunct, you know, that probably aren't used in the modern language. But it's a good question. I'll research that. I've been living here since 2004. I visited like long before that, back in the late 90s. So I have a long history here with Budapest. I'd recommend you visit, though. It's a great city. Doesn't mean I want to live there. You don't have to live here, but you should come and visit. That's how I feel about New York City. You know, it's one of those places like I always like to visit, but I wouldn't want to live there. Not the case with Budapest, though. Budapest is a very livable city. All right. So, yeah, it's the same thing, man. Every time I play this line, I can't I was like stunned after a3. I was spacing on what I'm supposed to do. It's weird. This is a relatively new variation. I mean, it really wasn't played at all until the last like 5 or 6 years. This idea of playing b6 is old, but it was always considered to be bad for black. But the idea is that after e4, you don't play bishop b7, you play c5. And this is the idea that's kind of revolutionized this into like a playable variation. Because as of like 10 years ago, I think this didn't even exist. And Morozevich was one of the first ones to play it regularly. Okay, so now d4 is hanging. There is a question, though. In the event of bishop a3, queen takes d4, bishop b2, I guess I could play queen g4 and defend g7 and just hold everything. It's good if you can answer your own questions. You know, so I don't know if he can just give up a central pawn here. I have no bad pieces, though he has the bishop pair. You know, he still has a lot of questions about his development and stuff. Asterbait, thanks for the bits. Soltigo as well. Guys, I just want to remind you again, Sunday will be a long simul this week. So usual time, 6 p.m. on Sunday for 25 players, but it's going to be longer, 60 minutes starting time. The increment is yet to be determined. I'm debating between 30 and 40 seconds. So if you're up for a 4-hour simul game, a potentially 4-hour simul game, come by on Sunday. I'm not going to do 60-60 take back though. That's too long. That could be like enormously long. I'm going to keep it to like 30 or 40 increment. We'll try that. You know, we'll work our way up to 60. I don't know how long the 60 would last. It might get a little bit too much. So I'm going for this. Does he have something else with the rook d1? It's not really convincing. I could trade queens there. So I'm not seeing anything else. Right, well this was my first guess. Maybe I didn't analyze this far enough. I thought, okay, queen g4, we're good. It could get kind of weird though after h3. There's definitely something artificial about putting my queen on this square. So h3, then what? You know, queen g5, h4. It's almost like I have to play queen g6 and trade queens. It's not that bad, but it's not that good, would be my evaluation of this position after queen g6. On the other hand, queen g5, h4 seems to be kind of flirting with that disaster. So I'll take my chances with this ending, where I'm hoping that I'm not worse. I am, however, a bit concerned about the dark squares and also a5. Rather than the routine rook h7, I could consider a different square for my rook, more actively on h5 or h4. This is probably just getting me in trouble. Let's just forget it. I mean, I guess a5 isn't really that big a deal. The main thing is I need to get my pieces out. Slightly past the development. If he wants to play a5, he can play a5. If he wants to play a6, he can play a6. Whoa, he's just hanging the g2 pawn now. He's like, oh shit. I understand the feeling. Very familiar feeling. Did I need that? Is that important? Problem with my bishop on c6, it could get hit. Maybe I should have put it there though. I had time. I could have bought time with knight c5. I don't know if I want to even play that anymore. He still has some compensation because his bishops are so strong. Releasing the tension. Alright, he lost on time. He's in a bad situation down a pawn here. But the opening was interesting, you know. I'm curious where we left from book or whatever. Let me turn on the opening explorer here and see. Okay, so this much is standard. This is kind of like, let's see. Vallejo actually has a game from 2013. So maybe I'm crediting the wrong person. Vallejo has an account here on lichess. He claims he plays every opening. But that's a guy I would want to follow. Okay, bishop b7, and now a4. And this is following this game Pankratov against Morozevich, and another game. I think we had this once before. Against you last time, it's possible that I played knight e7. I'm not sure, Haberbaum, if the game is still like on lichess. But I now played the move that was played by one of these guys. Lupulescu. I have the feeling I played 97 against Haberbaum in our first game in this position. White seems better after bishop a3 there. And then the other move played by Morozevich is knight c6. Because if I remember correctly, when we played this before, there was an issue where like I maybe took on f3 at some point. You know, so I don't think I put my knight on c6 against you. Morozevich is big with the Chigorin and knights and stuff like that, and he's down with putting his knight on c6. I don't really like blocking my bishop on c6. Stockfish likes knight e7, and it didn't like bishop a3, and then it changed its evaluation. Black could play for f6 in this sort of position. This actually looks to be like black's best. I think I played 97 too. Alright guys, let's play another game. You didn't like the horse? We gotta get the emojis up. Alright, I'm gonna stick with G3 again. The only game I won this week. But I like this just playing like G3, Knight F3, Bishop G2, castles. Then you don't have to think for the first 4 moves. Just start playing from that point, you know. It's easier to get closer to the time control. But speaking of time controls, I was looking in some tournaments this week, what's going on. There's like the Estonian Championship, which was interesting because Kulouts won the strong grandmaster from Estonia, Kaido Kulouts, won the Spring Festival here with a very impressive play. He was 7.5 out of 9. But I was thinking it was funny because the Estonian Championship starts like yesterday, and I was wondering if he was going to play, but I don't think he's playing in that. Anyways, the reason why I guess there was a reason why I mentioned this. Oh yeah, because the Estonian Championship has this weird time control. And also there's been some other tournaments doing this lately where it's already like fast enough as it is, but they're making these tournaments like, now I understand what's Black doing here. They're making these tournaments 40 moves in 90 minutes and then like game in 15. My question is like, why even game in 15? Why not 5 minutes? Or like, let's just play with 5 minutes to start the game, you know? That was the tournament in UAE now. With the 90 minutes, I think. I mean, if you're going to play like one game a day, it seems really dumb to have the game be that fast. But I mean, already the time control is fast enough, like 40 and 90, and 30 minutes for the rest of the game. Grandmasters are playing like horrible end games and stuff. When I said I thought I knew what you were doing here, come on, I thought you were going to play come. I always say come on. I don't know why. I thought the point was to play d takes c4 and then bishop e6. Because you cut out knight g5. There was a game like this in one of the tournament games on the 8th round here. I thought the whole point of h6 was to stop knight g5. I'd probably sack a pawn, you know. I mean, I could consider queen c2, though. I guess queen c2 was alright. I don't know, we'll investigate after the game, but now white is just better. You've just given up your strong point on d5 without any real justification. Okay, it's not that bad for black, but... Anyway, so speaking of the Estonian Championship as an example of another tournament where they're making the time control stupid fast, you know, what's the sense? It's like, okay, have a rapid tournament then. Why 90 minutes with 15 minutes? Why even 15 minutes? Just make it game in 90 and 30 seconds per move, you know. Then we could play like 2 games a day and just get it over with faster. For a serious tournament like a national championship, it just seems like a joke. Anyway, I mean, because like the quality of endgames is getting worse and worse. The fact of the matter is that like 50 years ago, the quality of play was better than it is now, probably, except in the opening. We know more about openings now, but I mean, the standard Grandmaster game had much better endgame technique 50 years ago than it does today. I mean, in most sports, like the level of play is like improving across the board, you know, but in chess we're playing endgames worse. Because like these organizers insist on making the games faster and faster. Alright, I reached an endgame like in the 8th round of my tournament game yesterday. Looked down at the clock and I have like 27 minutes left for the game. Thinking like, well, it's a good thing this is not like a, you know, 100 move endgame or something that I'm facing. Because I only have 20-something moves, 20-something minutes left for the whole game. Alright, well, what do we got here? Pretty standard position. Black's playing like a London system, but we've got good center. I mean, we should think about playing e4 at some point. There's also minority attack, which I'm flirting with here, with b4. Appropriate suggestions. Rook b8 is a strange move. I don't really get that. What's he doing with rook b8? I would expect like rook c8 more. I guess he's just defending this in the event of an eventual like b4 knight a5 or something. A lot of players would play e4 here, but I don't like committing myself till I'm really, really sure what I want to do with these central pawns. What if he plays like b5 and knight a5 is strong? Another thing I could do is create like a battery with my bishop c3, queen b2, like in the Reti. It is effectively like a Reti system. But right now, bishop c3 can be met by knight to d5, just driving me away from that square. I mean, I could put it back on like d2 probably with a reasonable game, even there. But it's not really an exciting type of position. I like my bishop on a long diagonal. Now we start flirting with the central stuff. Maybe e4. We could just build up the center. But basically this is a blitz game. I'm trying to annotate it like it's 7-10 minute game, but there's just not a lot of time here to think about like long-term strategic plans. That's why I don't like bullet chess. It's just like reacting, and There's no thought process. It's just like, oh, he's hanging a knight, you know, oh, took his knight. You know, I mean, that's not really benefiting anybody. This even in 5-minute chess, it's like so fast. It's hard to really like point out strategic ideas and beneficial concepts. That's why I like to play like 7+3. But for Friday, it's just for fun. We're making the 5+3, so there's more people that can get to play and stuff. Just kind of mix it up. But my Monday and Wednesday streams, I'm playing up to 7+3, which gives us a little bit more time to kind of talk about the position and maybe actually learn something. Here I'm just reacting. I'm just making quick moves based on fundamental principles. Black is very passive here. I guess we go rook c1. Again, just general principles. But I'm ready to play e4. Maybe even shift my queen away from c2 to get off that diagonal of the bishop on h7. But ideally, like, the plan would be to just build a big center. e4, queen e2, and then somehow prepare d4. But he does have a lot of pressure on the e4 pawn. My concern here is that this could become backward. But his position is not really set up for that. You know, his rook's on the wrong square, his queen's on the wrong square. He doesn't have any play along the d-file. His knight's not that active. An open invitation to anyone who's suggestions for emotes. That is great. That doesn't mean perverse suggestions, troll. We're talking about relatively politically correct suggestions. But both sides here just kind of jockeying for position. Finally he commits to a structure. Okay, it's probably a good idea. Now it's more like a King's Indian attack. I can't play d4 without losing my e4 pawn. Just generalities again. I mean, maybe here he could even play g5, threatening to fork me. That would be kind of committal, though. I mean, then I can go knight f1. Actually, the other knight is ready to come into e3. All my pieces look pretty good, but yet I still have failed to find a way to open the position. Every time I try to open the position, something bad happens, basically. This is similar to my last round of the tournament. I have like a white squared bishop that's a wild card, but a really, you know, potentially very strong long-term advantage. It feels like here I need to play on both sides of the board. I don't have d4 without him having massive pressure against my pawn here. Maybe I did have it, actually. Maybe d4 was interesting there. Take the second bishop now. The problem is that oftentimes, I mean, really seriously, oftentimes like the two bishops are actually, they have a harder time against knights than like bishop and knight. So in other words, his two knights here might be better than, say, having a bishop and knight against the two bishops. The knights coordinate well. Looks like he's holding on. Seriously. I mean, g6 weakens his king's side. If he takes on e4, he loses g7. So it's not that easy for black. He can also lose the exchange really easily here if his rook gets trapped, like knight e5, bishop c5 type of lines. Yeah, 95, bishop c5 probably loses an exchange, or close to it. Yeah, knight f3 check. He took, he's letting me take on g7. What's the deal? Why do I need to take on e4, though? There's no reason I need to take on e4. Absolutely none. Well, he's knight g5, but I'm not sure that does anything. Keeping my bishops on the board makes his king less safe. Well, I could just take on d7 now. Well, whatever. Alright. It's all good. He has a saving grace here. That move. A little bit of counterplay. Objectively, he's lost. But that was a bad blunder. He could have played rook e2. I mean, with a little bit of counterplay. Objectively, he was still lost, but there at the last minute, I mean, at least try, you know, rook e2 here with a little bit of counterplay. +3, according to the computer. Now, it's a typical game where nothing really happened. I just had a slightly better position than it opened up eventually, and the bishops are good. Spinal Tap, what's up, man? What's up? Just call me the draw master. Alright. So, well, even if I'm not a good player, at least I can be a good teacher. Are you playing in the World Open, man? What's up? If I could get my rating down to 2299, I was thinking of playing in the World Open, but that's not likely to happen. I don't know of any way to lose. I don't know of any way to lose 50 rating points in well, I've got May and June. If I could lose 50 rating points in 2 months, I could play in the under 2300 section of the World Open. I mean, under 2300 prize money. But I couldn't lose 50 rating points without like dropping games on purpose. So that wouldn't be right. I need to draw my way down to 2300. That's the plan. Then it's not immoral, you know. I just keep handing out draws to little kids and stuff till I'm 22.99. That's the basic plan. All right, Merwa. So we're just gonna keep up our system. Knight f3 and g3 against everything. All right. Spinal Tap Chess. So you're in the Philadelphia area. Are you playing in the World Open, or just not worth it? If I lived locally, I would want to play, but like, what am I playing for? Like, to win the under 2450 money is really hard. I think I did that once though. I did finish a half point out of first twice, and the one time I definitely won the under 2450 money. But that's, you know, it's FIDE, by FIDE ratings. Tournament's probably even stronger now than it was 15 years ago, though. I'm not sure, though. Alright, no, I'm probably not playing anything till I don't know, the fall. At this point, I'm going to take the summer off. Just streaming and teaching lessons and stuff like that. You always live locally. Yes, Troll, you can think of interesting things to say. Bishop e6, what is this? This may have been played against me once before. It seems like the most aggressive way you can play like a Tarash, like you're trying to get away with like not losing a tempo, h6, Rook c8. Someone else did this against me. And I've seen people do it when you have the same position with colors reversed. I mean, like, traditionally, it's supposed to be a mistake. But maybe it's not so bad. This move. To me, this move seems unnecessary. I mean, seriously, like, let's try to play h6. And if we're going to play bishop b6, we should go whole hog. So I just don't have the time to lose 50 more rating points. If I draw 2,000 players indefinitely, I can lose, like, 2.5, 3 points per game. It would take me at least 20 games to draw my way down to 2299. I would have to play in like 2 or 3 tournaments to do it, basically. But it's not really sandbagging if you do it with draws. That's my philosophy. We did have a game like this not that long ago against somebody. Now the question is the white squares. Do the white squares just fall apart here for black? You want to see this video? Wait, what are you talking about, Saltiga? Wait, who's Carm Smile? Saltigo, I did this video for chesslecture.com where I said the title is Who Needs Openings? But who is Carm? What is Carm Smile? Is that I don't see anybody here logged in called Carm Smile. Alright. Marwa is more like this, what I really think people should, young players who learn the game should first learn how to play the middle game and the end game. He's not like the little kids who memorize 17, 18 moves of theory. This is probably best, just learning to play the middle game. He's a young player and he's good, but he doesn't memorize openings. Probably this is the right way to approach it. I mean, you do need to start to learn openings at some point here. He's going pretty far now. I guess d4 would be better. Here, Marwa, you really need to try to keep it closed with me having 2 bishops on the board. I think the best shot is d4. The jury is out as far as if I can play e5 in that position. I didn't really calculate that, which is a typical motif, but maybe I can play e5. I had a game with Yuri Borishek like that, but I would play normally like knight e2 and then try to blockade King's Indian style with knight f4 or knight c1, knight d3. But you generally need to keep the position closed because I have the 2 b's. I mean, I know he's got a beat on my f2 pawn, but I'm not sure that justifies opening up both my bishops. Misspell Carl. Carl Smile. What is a Carl Smile? I don't know that any better than a Carm Smile. What is a Carl Smile? I don't know any of this stuff. At least you make me smile, man. I'm laughing for the first time today. I was angry when Nefedov drew me the first game. He was like, what do you mean it's not a real game? It feels like when I play Nefedov, we're just going through the motions. Like we just have a draw every game. and it's just like a already like foregone conclusion. But queen h5 here, whoa. Like I could just play bishop takes h7. But why am I being so stupid? Doesn't queen h5 just win a piece? Is that what you're asking yourself? Bishop takes f2, rook takes f2. Queen d1 check, king g2. That looks kind of scary. I'm getting scared now. I mean, I know that I have very strong attack here, but the question is the correct way to do this. Queen h5, bishop takes f2 check, rook takes f2, queen... What did I say? Queen d1 check. Wait, that's not legal. Never mind. Alright, sometimes we have ghost hallucinations, you know? The pieces that come back to life, that's another. Krogi has talked about that in his book on chess psychology. You win material here. Yeah, well, I mean, I don't really want to trade pieces if it's not necessary. So if we could just straight up win a piece, that's better. But this is an instructive lesson for Marois. He doesn't want to open the position when the other guy has the bishop pair, unless he's got a really, really strong tactic. It's funny because Naj Gabor, who's a strong IM playing in the Spring Festival, had a game in the 8th round against this guy from Israel. I don't remember his name. Weinberg, I think. And Naj Gabor played very similarly to how Marois did here, but in a kind of slightly different position where he had a little bit more development to justify like totally giving up all like the white squares, and he managed to draw against Weinberg with a similar distribution of material. What am I missing here? Maybe he really has something. Okay, I could see like, nah. I mean, even if I just take on f2, like, what's he going to do? Queen d4 check, king g2. That makes sense. All right. No, then he has something, but what's the best way to take? With my queen or with the bishop? This is just winning. You play awkwardly. How do you define that? Like, that I play awkwardly, Nefedov? How do you define that exactly? What do you mean by that? Like, I bet my Centipon loss is pretty low for awkward. It's kind of hard to understand what you mean exactly by awkward. Rook h8. Bishop g6 check, queen g6 check. Okay. Bishop g6 and take. Can I do that? I'm going to lose on time. Bishop g6 check. Alright, this is just, I'm being sort of silly here. I mean, at this point, what am I thinking about, really? Okay, I'm a little nervous now that I've actually messed this up. Looks like I may actually be in trouble. Now it's just total chaos. Why did he resign? Wait, why did he resign here? I don't... Oh, because I'm just taking on e5. I didn't even realize I was taking on e5. No, that's not the reason. It was a weird moment to resign. I didn't even see knight c6, but it's just kind of a sudden resignation. I guess I'm winning, but I was surprised he would resign with more time, you know. He was expecting queen takes e5. He resigned before I made the move. Oh. Oh, he was expecting queen takes e5 check, duh. So how could he resign before I made the move, though? Yeah. Well, anyway, queen takes e5 is slightly better. Whew, that was close. I was like, whoa. I thought I had messed it up, but actually, he really gave it the college try here. I thought there was no counterplay at all. But suddenly, I had trouble finding a good move, and I played this lemon, rook b1. I mean, this is really lucky that I have a way out here. If I don't have bishop e3, I'm just lost. And I didn't see it in advance. You know, I had to find it. I'm very, very fortunate that I have that move. But I found it with just 10 seconds. A surprise win. Any win is a surprise for me. Alright. Only stupid names left. Guys, Sunday simul, 60 minutes, 4 hours at least for the time control. 6 p.m. on Sunday. Mainline Slav, this is our second one today. Aserbay, good to see you. Thanks for supporting the stream. Well, Marwa just, you know, the opening is really a big hole he dug for himself there. I mean, to get out of that position at all would be very difficult. Yeah, I'm pretty good tactically when I have to be, usually, when I'm forced. Problem is that my positions, you know, aren't typically that tactical. Okay, bishop e7 is transposing to a passive version of the Queen's Gambit declined, which I don't really like. You're basically playing a cross between the semi-Slav and the Queen's Gambit declined. It's considered to be slightly inaccurate, but playable. The self-deprecation today. That's what I do. But you don't understand, man, spin words, how many bad tournaments I've had consequently, you know. I mean, it's a lot of you need a lot of reflection. I'm angry with myself, you know, for playing badly a lot. I'm frustrated and trying to find the answers to why I can't seem to get back even close to my former level after 2 years of trying to do so. A6 now. I have to do something on the queen side. He's threatening c5. So it seems like a4 is basically forced. I mean, the truth of the matter is really that I don't think that streaming and teaching lessons is something that's going to make me play better in tournament chess. I mean, the things are just basically mutually exclusive. I had this hope that I would get stronger you know, I would improve as an overall player by doing chess full time. But unfortunately, that doesn't seem to be the case. You can't have everything here. But you know, I think the truth is that like playing chess and teaching chess and streaming, you know, online blitz games or whatever you want are just separate things. And I don't think that, you know, my hope that I would do better at tournament chess because I'd be doing chess every day is not really realistic. You know, I think I just need to, you know, if you want better tournament results, you just have to put in a lot of time studying and working on your game. Working on other people's games is not necessarily going to carry over. I don't think as far as analyzing my own games on the stream, I'm going to do that. But I was thinking about maybe like making some YouTube video where I would go over. If I do it, it would be probably like for a YouTube video, like a recorded YouTube video, which I haven't done lately in my YouTube channel, video chess training on YouTube. But I do want to get back to making like YouTube videos outside just my streams. So I think I would opt for that, like rather than during a live stream going over my games. You know, it seems more appropriate to do a recorded video for that sort of thing. All right, so h6 now weakening his king side, and I guess normally you don't want to trade pieces when you have more space. I'm just debating between bishop f4 and bishop h4. I guess there's just no reason not to play bishop h4 here. And we would want to support the knight with f4. This is looking pretty good, but he's got knight d5. All right, I wasn't sure if he was going to go to d7. Now, I was thinking about bishop takes e7 and knight e4. Bishop takes e7, knight takes c3, bishop takes d8. Knight takes e2 check, bishop takes d2, and then rook takes d8. I might be able to play something like rook d6 there. But this exchange on c3 is really annoying. Alright, let's just keep the pieces on the board. This contains a very strong threat for white, I think. He practically has to exchange pieces. But actually, he should be fine here. Now, luckily, he doesn't have queen a5, because I can just take on b5. So he can't attack my c3 pawn directly. I also have pressure on b5, so he can't play c5. So it's not that easy to free himself in this position. White is still a little bit better, but in my opinion, I've allowed like way too much simplification already. My attack just isn't fast enough. I might have f4, f5, but again, it just seems a little bit too slow. So I think I messed this up. Knowledge quickly fades. Knowledge quickly fades when faced with the fears. I don't know about that. I would say confidence quickly fades. Yeah, confidence fades. I don't know if the knowledge actually fades. It may become hazy, you know. Maybe you phrase that differently, Soltigo, but your thoughts are much, you know, your thoughts are very appropriate. I can tell you one thing, though. I am very fragile with confidence. I can be on top of the world one day and then, like, have zero confidence the next. And not everybody, you know, is like that. And I'm not sure that it's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, I guess it has its, you know. On the one hand, I don't become overconfident, you know, very easily. Which is good. but obviously self-confidence issues are very detrimental in general. Can be. But I had the same thing when I was playing poker. You know, if I had a bad run for a few months, I would just like lose my mind, you know. I would become completely depressed. After a few months of not winning any money, I would get extremely down. But you have to have emotions. I think, you know, they kind of guide you in some way. I mean, to be emotionless, I'm not sure that that's necessarily a good thing either. Kind of deep self-psychological analysis here. Uh-oh. Okay, I don't know what's going on with this. He's got some sort of trick. But I think he's dropping a pawn. Oh no, he has a trick. This was not the trick I was expecting. There I think I expected takes, bishop takes g2, but I have bishop takes e8, so his tricks don't quite work. I'm taking here. I mean, maybe he's seen further than I have. Now he has bishop takes g2, that's not clear. I think that's bad for black. He has to take on c4, I take on b7. And I'm up a pawn for what it's worth. Not a great pawn though. Probably not a pawn at all. Well, I'm up 2 pawns. I don't count this one on the king side. But that's all that I'm going to be left with, is 1 pawn on the king side, 5 against 4 with the doubled pawns. But more importantly, we have space advantage, f2 secure. I can easily avert the back rank threats, and well, I don't want to trade pieces. The e5 pawn's really cramping. This is actually pretty seriously problematic for black. I'm going to play h4. I have rook takes e7. What does that do? Nothing. Alright. But only stupid names left. He's pretty strong. Definitely underrated. This again doesn't make sense to play. He'll just have counterplay. I mean, there's no sense in doing that. Queen d1, rook c8, and he's threatening my queen. Immediately I'm going to have to move again. We just stay where we are. Try to play like bishop f4 maybe. Create some kingside weaknesses. Technical position, I have no idea if this is a win or a draw. I mean, maybe it's a draw if black defends properly, but it's not easy. Soltico says he found that there's the right amount of confidence going into a game. I didn't really want to trade rooks here, but it's appearing like I don't have a lot of choice. Let's see. I don't think I can win this queen ending. If I trade queens with queen d4, I was afraid it would be drawn. He would trade queens and play like h5, put all his pawns on white squares. Whoa, I'm about to drop this pawn. It's a little hard to believe that Stupid Names is 1400. Doesn't seem like an appropriate rating. Wow. It's probably a draw. I mean, objectively. Yeah, the engine doesn't even claim I have an advantage. Wow. Sonic Boom says, I'd like to play you. Well, you have to challenge me in order to play me. And you're not in the challenge list. I'm just taking challenges according to the order I get them. So maybe like next time, if there's no time today. Dracofire says, I'm trying to only play a few games per day and improve a bit on those games that I play. Maybe watch other games. Well, I think that's something that's very, very useful. You know, watching other people play. A lot of people don't have the, don't have the attention span. If you're watching my stream, though, you probably do. A lot of people don't have the attention span to watch other people play chess. And then there's like watchers who like only watch. There used to be a lot of people like that in the chess cafe. They don't want to put their ego on the line by playing, but they love watching, they love spectating, they love kibitzing and stuff. That can be problematic too, though, if you're like afraid to play. So you have to have a combination of watching and playing. But only stupid names left, man. Really, I don't know how you're 1400. I mean, you play pretty well. The only criticism I have is that your opening is passive, But I mean, other than that, it was a really good game. Supreme 5, he plays ridiculously fast. Alright, let's see. Infinite Flash Chess, who's a streamer too, he says the only reason I got 2000 was because I watched an IM play. Not to be the, devil's advocate, but I think that you're simplifying. Give yourself a little more credit. But yeah, I mean, okay. It may be like the biggest reason. I wouldn't say the only reason. I don't know you personally, but it can't be the only reason. I'm sure that you did other things that you deserve to get over 2000, but it may be like, yeah, it could easily be the single most, the single most beneficial thing that you did, or, Budapest, the Blumenfeld Gambit. Knight c3 is an interesting line. It's very, very rare. Let me remember what I'm supposed to do against this. We might have had a game or two on stream with this, but not recently. I did a video series for the Chess World on the Blumenfeld. There was actually a guy from Madagascar at the tournament I'd never heard of. He's a young guy, maybe 20 years old. Look like maybe even younger, I'm not sure, but he's like 2400 IM, and he's or at least 2400 rated from Madagascar. He was playing the Blumenfeld. Not a very trendy opening, but he played the variation that I recommended in my video series. Here, knight b1, it's probably knight a4, Supreme 5. There's a strong player in France, a young player, I can't remember his name now. Armenian descent, who played this move. Can't remember the guy's name. It's a young GM, very strong. But knight a4 is kind of a sideline. That's really interesting. Knight b1 is passive, so I've definitely had this before. Yeah, I played the English defense quite a while back in like the early 2000s. And even even until about like 2006, I was playing between like 99 and 2006. I probably played the English defense a lot. So bishop g5, we can decide here to play d6 or h6. I think we go for it. I normally don't like to waste time with h6. But we're getting his dark square bishop. We're also hitting b2, and I don't think he can just sacrifice that pawn flat out. Like knight b2, queen takes b2 looks like problems for white because of that. So now he had to put his queen on d2, which is really a major concession. As far as the next move concerned, I don't know what to do. g5 is interesting. Wow, g5 threatening g4. Sending another knight home. Go home, Mr. Knight. Yeah, he's going for it here. So bishop g7, e5. There's also g5, I mean g4. g4, e5, queen f5, g4, e5, queen e7. g4, e5, where do I go? g4, e5, queen g7. That's the secret move? Alright. Supreme 5, he's a talented player, but he plays too fast. Well, d6 had problems because of bishop e5. I could do something extreme like bishop e5 check, king d8, but I try to preserve that as like a last resort. The last resort operation. Now white's just in big trouble here. He's probably lost. But going back to the opening, knight a4 is, there's the fire engine. Or ambulance. It's really hard to tell the difference. Like, all the alarms, or whatever you want to call them. Alarms. Uh-oh, wait a second here. He's breaking out. Oh no. Is a3 a good move? Here I think I'm thinking I'm just totally winning, like, out of hand, and it's not so clear. Yeah, this move is probably sort of dumb. f3 I don't like. Maybe it's not that bad. It doesn't seem like the best move, though. I guess I just take everything. How many pawns is he down here? 2? Just bishop d4 is very disruptive. He's 2 pawns down. Kind of expected this. That I didn't expect, though. That's probably going too far. I mean, now he leaves me with this crushing passed pawn. Alright, he just resigned. But maybe I can remember this guy's name. We played this knight a4 move. The game isn't in here. I must have confused the position. Wait, no, here, knight a4. Come on, computer, come on. Where is the game that I'm looking for? Bishop b7. Well, Vagignan actually played black in this line. That's interesting. Vagignan played one of the most critical games with white against the Blumenfeld a few years earlier, but I can't find the game that I was thinking of. Michael Wilder played black against Lombardi in 1981. Okay. Anyway, well, that's weird. Trying to remember a game that wasn't here. Anyway, this line may not be that bad for white to play knight a4. Okay, let's get on with it. I take back 5+3. We've been up for 2 hours. I'm going to be streaming for another 30 minutes. And then Sunday's simul, long simul, 60 minutes. Cliff's Esports Corner. Cliff. Master Cliff. I knew this guy named Master Cliff. He was He was a funny guy. I don't know if he's still around somewhere, but in a very, very bad time in my life, Master Cliff was the only person who told me like it was. Master Cliff, I owe him a thank you and a beer. Wherever you are, Master Cliff, I won't forget you, buddy. You tried to do the right thing. Save me from a lot of problems. You're the only one. I'm just thinking that you're not yeah, he wasn't a master either, man. But we called him Master Cliff. That was just his title. Alright, Bishop D7. So this is my game from round 7 of the Budapest Spring Festival. Except white played rook e1 instead of c3, which is maybe a trickier move order. But anyway, it doesn't really matter. So this position here, you'll take the beer. Bishop c4. This is a relatively new move that this guy prepared and played against me. Apparently, in Chess 24, Robin van Kempen has done some video promoting this variation with Bishop c4, which was totally unknown to me. Like, I never had anyone even play it in a blitz game. And so when the guy uncorked that on me over the board, I ended up spending like all my time, well, at least a good chunk of my time, basically, you know, reinventing the wheel. I've played Bishop takes f3 quite a bit here. I actually played this position once against Alexander Strapunski with white. That was the only time I ever lost to Strapunski. It was also one of the only times I played a few Rossalimos with white. I like to experiment with it, but I don't know it really well. This is like the main line. I think I actually only have like maybe two tournament games that got this far. I had a draw with Jürgen Bruschkern. It was an FM, and I lost to Maxim Turov once. But it was definitely late on d2. Turov did something like knight d2 followed by queen b3. It was some specialty. The problem with knight a3, it doesn't support your f3 knight, you know, so you can't move queen b3 without allowing double pawns or playing g4. That doesn't seem quite as good. I mean, I guess this is okay for white, and you're playing it like King's Indian reversed, but maybe not like quite the most accurate, let's say, setup that white can do. If d5 is d5 premature, I mean, d5 does seem a little early. h5 is fun here. Well, I'm not sure what you mean. I think now it would make sense to play d5 though. I could see black playing h5 in the event of g4, if that's what you meant, like in the future. Maybe he's just seeing into the future. But now, there's no h5 anymore now that I'm castled kingside. I could see maybe you're talking about like white playing g4, bishop g6, and then considering the idea of playing h5. This is basically like sort of Caro-Kann style structure. Black is quite solid. We could put a lot of pressure on the d4 pawn, I would think, right about now. But bishop e4. Bishop e4, knight d2. Can he do that? Alright, anyway, he has to take back with the pawn. He can't drop his e5 pawn. Let's just do it this way. And then target. Yeah, he just gave me, well, I said he can't do it, but it looks like he can. You know, he could trap my bishop with f4, f5. That's the justification of this. He's used just 4 minutes. I mean, he has 4 minutes remaining. Holy crap. Wow. Okay. So I can't trap your bishop. I mean, you can trap my bishop with f4, f5. Okay, that's fair enough. It would take a lot of calculation to... Well, I do have tricks, though. Knight takes e5, f4. There may be knight takes d4, pawn takes d4, bishop h4. Yeah, let's try it. I mean, maybe I'm going to get in trouble here, but you only live once. I have bishop h4 ideas. I think the worst case scenario would be something like I end up getting like a pawn and a rook for 2 pieces or something like that. For some reason I imagine the street-filled line of ambulances. It's a bad French for white. I guess every Caro-Kann is a bad French for white. We get our bishop outside the pawn chain. Man, the Caro-Kann is popular. I just don't understand. There's so many Caro-Kanns. Why is that opening so popular? Actually, it feels like the French should be better. And actually, if you look at statistics, this is funny though. If you check ChessBase or lichess Opening Explorer, I think the French has like the best score of the main defenses to e4. Yeah, for some reason, Caro-Kann is going through this huge renaissance. I don't know, for some reason, I've always had bad luck with that opening. Why do black players like to play against the mainline short variation of the Caro-Kann? I don't know, man, but that's all I see everywhere. Every single game is like that variation. Yeah, black is okay. But I'm not sure it's fun. You know, I wouldn't classify playing black in those lines as fun. I don't know. You know, I really don't know. No, the point was to play knight takes d4 here. And then I have different ways to try to do this. There is bishop b4 as well. Maybe bishop b4. The question is bishop h4. Bishop h4 or bishop b4. I'm not up any pieces here though. So we'll go with this. We can save our knight now. Does that even matter? I guess I could just play knight c4. Oh, there's no rook e2, knight e4 check. Yeah, knight f3 check, sorry, and bishop e4. Yeah, I mean, I think this is what I expected when I went into this. Something along these lines. Difficult to evaluate. I mean, it feels like f6 should be played. Opening up all my pieces. And his knight doesn't really have a good square. All 4 of my pieces are in the game. Even though he has 2 pieces for a rook. I have active pieces and a pawn and a rook for the 2 pieces. Oh, but my time is really low. Alright, I didn't realize. We just have to play blitz. Unfortunately, take back is really fast. Oh, I'm dropping something. Whoops. Yeah, the time was really, really brutal. I didn't need to drop that pawn on e6. But he has some technical problems here. So it's still unclear. I just forgot I had the threat. Now I'm winning. Okay, the position wasn't clear. What was happening there? Okay, kind of lucky. Because I think in reality maybe I was worse. After I dropped the pawn, I'm definitely worse. But prior to that, I mean, I think it's just like not sure what's happening here. As far as the opening goes, I have no clue if a4 has been played. A couple wins for black. There's some good players. Sabalo, Baklan played the same as me. I castle. Sabalo played d5. I wasn't sure. Now d5 is really good. g4, bishop g6. And white, yeah, should think about bishop f4 there. Alright. Anyway, guys, let's try to play another game here. We've got time for at least one more game. Yeah, this should be probably equal at the end. Again, I'm going to get my pawn back and have enough material. But might try the Nimzo. I don't normally play knight c3 lately so much because playing the white side of the Nimzo actually requires a lot of theoretical preparation, which I don't have time for. I do chess every day, but I have no time to prepare my own openings. That's why I'm losing rating points every time I play in a tournament. No time to study. So guys, Sunday, don't forget to be here. If you can play a long simul game, I'm going to do 60 minutes simul. It'll probably last 4 hours, so increment to be announced. I have to calculate, how long the games could potentially last. H6 is a strange move. very strange looking move. Like he wants to do an extended fianchetto or something. Okay, we'll go with the flow and see what he does here. I thought I recently went over the Nimzo with a student. Well, I mean, yeah, I don't remember now. Not that much. Not so recently. There was nothing in the very recent history that I can recall. But you're also talking about playing the Nimzo with black and playing the Nimzo with white, which are completely different things. The white side of the classical Nimzo is one thing, and then, you know, the black side of the Nimzo is another thing. Here we're talking about me potentially playing the white side of the Nimzo. G5 is really creepy looking. Why don't we just try to blow it away? I don't know, if I play H4, does he take that and try to hold on to it? Am I getting too excited? H4 takes. I mean, it definitely looks kind of dubious for black, but okay, we don't have to go crazy here. Interesting. There's no doubt this is dubious for black, but I think that it's tricky enough that it's probably worth playing in a game. I'm not sure what white's best possible setup is here. We have a lot of different options. I mean, what if I play like bishop b5 check? It looks kind of lame. H4 seems like the most direct. Alright, let's just do it. It's just, hey JSC. JCS, I'm dyslexic. You weren't here. Will you be for the simul, Jacob? We're doing a simul 60 minutes on Sunday, so if you got 4 hours to spare, take care, man. Thanks for subscribing, everybody. He doesn't have to take, though. I mean, he could also play G4. He could attempt to maintain the tension with bishop G7. I don't know why I was so concerned about him taking. I mean, it's actually not that appealing of an option. But on the other hand, it doesn't seem so easy for me to get the pawn back if that's my main concern, you know, like knight f3, bishop e7. He doesn't have to fianchetto, he can just play bishop e7. I had crazy thoughts of even playing like f4, trying to turn it into a 4 pawns attack or something like that. This isn't even a normal Benoni, though. I mean, anyway, Dracofire likes to play like the, what is it, the Polish opening with white, extended fianchetto type of thing. So, alright, esports, see you, man. I'll keep you I'll keep you in mind for the beer. The beer I promised to the other Cliff. I think keeping the tension is just a really good thing to do in general. So if you don't know what to do, keep the tension. You heard it here first. Especially when you're white and you have space advantage or an initiative. Okay, I can maybe go for something concrete here, though. Being that my time is getting a little bit short, we'll just exchange and play queen h5, which will force him to play an awkward move. Maybe this is just good for me. It's very possible. Very rare, but sometimes like the simplest solution is the best. Being that I'm in time pressure, I'm going to opt for the fastest solution here, the simplest solution. I did not seriously consider this, but maybe it is. Not a lot of options. I guess I could have played bishop d2. But I definitely prefer developing. We have a little bit better pawn chain. And, you know, if you look at the position in terms of structure, this is oftentimes very hard for black to deal with this solid Benoni formation for white, which I get in the samish a lot with f3. You were saying bye to JC. I knew there were just too many people saying bye, like, at the same time. It was too much of a coincidence. Alright, guys. Tonight and tomorrow my day is off, and then we're going to be back with the Simon on Sunday. Then next week is back to the usual schedule, Monday, Wednesday, and Friday in the mornings, and Tuesday, Thursdays in the evenings at 7 p.m. So we've got the solid pawn formation based on f3, most likely. Now I have to consider that. There's also really concrete knight g3. I think he's losing his d6 pawn. Knight g3. Ooh, it's pretty nasty. I don't have too much time to think about this. My first idea was to keep a solid structure, but with f3. But this looks... Black has no development, and he's kind of melting down. We just take on e4, and his d6 pawn is going to go. If he loses that pawn, it's the end of the Benoni. I've got like 5 minutes left. I don't know if there's time to start another game. Not really. I've got a lesson in like half an hour. So I don't have a lot of time between the stream and my private lessons today. Sundays, that's not the case. Yeah, I mean, there's ways I could mess this up, like cashing in, bishop takes e7, giving up the dark squared bishop. I think c4 is an interesting move. There's a lot of good moves here. I could castle queenside. But 97 looks like it's definitely his best try. What if I played bishop f4, pawn takes pawn, c4? He's still hanging on. This is not that easy. Wow. Alright. Time will tell here. I'm afraid this is just going to be decided by the clock. Black's hanging on in a very difficult position. No development, per se. And very big problems with that pawn on d6. But still, it's not over. Maybe on time, it's almost over. We also have threats against his king. It's not a joke. Bishop e2. I mean, it's, you know, you can only withstand so much here. It looks like bishop e2, and it's all falling apart. Could sack a pawn, but it doesn't matter. He can't keep everything protected. He's actually getting mated down the H file. I mean, I'd probably bring my rook over to H1 with a very, very strong attack at any moment. The position is it's just too hard for black to defend this. What does he play here? Like king f7 or something? King f7 is +7 for white. My goodness. That's the best move, is +8. Oh my god. No, no, no. This is no good, guys. That'll be the last game for today. H6 is like an experimental move. This has never been played. Stockfish clearly likes H4. I feel good about that, at least. We made the right decision finally. It's not clear what he should do. I feel like maybe G takes H4. It's never an easy decision when you have the extended fianchetto. I mean, actually, Dracofire should realize this playing the Polish opening or whatever. I mean, it's never easy to decide whether you should keep the tension push or take, you know, the bayonet pawn, you know, with A4, whatever you want to call it. But it tends to be the case that usually the lowest risk is like keeping the tension. But sometimes you just have to break it and break down and take on H4. It looks like that's probably the best here. Bishop G7, H takes G5, takes here, and then Queen H5, best move. This is apparently best, but he's just in a terrible situation. And I didn't have to play knight e2. I could have played bishop d2, which I mentioned. But it's not clear. It looks like knight e2 is good. G4. And I just decided to trade queens, just to keep it simple. It's a very, very difficult position for black, though. I mean, he's got these weaknesses. They're just so hard to protect without having a dark square bishop on the board. Anyway, guys, I'm going to finish up for today. We'll be back on Sunday with the simul. It's going to be a long simul, requested some weeks ago by one of our subscribers. 60 minutes, at least 4 hours, probably starting at 6 p.m. till 10 p.m. Central European time, summertime here at lichess and Twitch. I'd like to thank everybody for watching and subscribing and playing, and we're going to be streaming back to the usual schedule next week. Anyway, guys, Sunday, 6 p.m. Thanks, Soltigo. Thanks, everyone, for playing and watching. I will see you on Sunday. Bye-bye.